Hi, welcome back everybody. In this video, as you've probably guessed, we'll be applying our second colour. I've mixed a green, we're ready to go, but it might be just worth noting a couple of things. Firstly, here's the block that has been carved a bit more in order to now reprint. So again, given that we have a reduction process rather than a multi-block colour print, we are just using, of course, the one block and we are modifying it, cutting away more each time prior to reprinting onto the same paper. So effectively we have layers of colour going from our lightest colour to our darkest colour. And of course, each colour is printed over the previous one, hence why it's referred to as a reduction process. So after cleaning, you can see that there's still some lines left on the block from the graphite, my graphite paper or carbon paper. In the previous video, you saw me just using a rubber to remove some of those marks. I didn't do a very good job. You might have noticed I actually didn't attend to the bottom simply because I was being distracted and wasn't all that careful. Let's have a look at the results then of the printing from that first session. So this is our light acid-free cartridge. This particular cartridge is very smooth, and because it's light and thin, it makes for a good product you'll recall for hand printing using a Baren. You will notice though, because there's not a lot of paper pulp there, because the acrylic is a water-based ink and it has dried, you can see potentially that there is a little bit of cockling in the paper. It's not significant, but if you were to finish this print and, for instance, if you would have it framed and popped on a wall in a gallery, the gallery lights might pick up some of that. We also printed onto some other stock. So this is a Fabriano, and in particular, it's like a tan Rosa Pina. So it's not a brilliant white. It's a lot easier to kind of look at. There's less contrasts. But again, you may be able to notice, even after about 20 prints, there is a little bit of transference of some of those graphite lines onto this print. It's not significant, but they're visible nevertheless. I'm thinking that that won't be a problem when I go to print the next color, but they're really just visible, particularly down in this corner where I didn't complete, if you like, erasing, removing some of that extra carbon, or in this case, graphite. Now that this block has been cut ready for the next color impression, as you might gather, I've just been careful using a stiff brush, a clean brush to clean out all of those areas. I've also given it a light sand with 800 grit wet and dry paper. Again, the intention is to ensure that I've left no greasy kind of marks on that surface as a result of cutting. I placed a piece of paper between my hand and the linotile, and of course, it's also possible if you wish to use some rubber gloves. All right, now it's time to put on our next colour. So let's do that now. So the block is inked, ready for proofing. And so that you can see what I'm up to, I've actually got the registration board here. I'll do some hand burnishing here to proof this second colour. I would normally have paper, and where I'm printing away from my ink, I've got a spot over here for cutting all the dirty stuff, store paper over there next to the drying rack, or in this instance next to our little press. The purpose of the proof is to see if the colour is correct, if it aligns nicely with the first colour, but also I'm interested to see how some of these marks come through, particularly say around the areas that I've sought to cut away. I've intentionally left some of those little ridges so that they'll pick up some ink. I'll probably have on the surface more little ridges than I really want. It gives me those options, you see, and of course the chances are after proofing I'll identify some that I wish to cut away to improve how the print works. But anyway, let's do that now, and after we finish our hand printing, we'll have a look at that proof to see if there's areas that can be cut away and how the colours synchronise together. So that you can see what I'm up to, I've got our first proof print sitting here. I've taken all of the printed prints from the earlier session after they have dried, of course, from the drying rack, and placed them together in order. So I know that this top one is my first proof print. Because there's not a lot that's been cut away on this first colour, sometimes it's difficult to know which way is up or down. So it can be handy on the back, on the reverse side, maybe just lightly with the graphite HB pencil, mark an arrow, so that when you are at the printing stage, you know that you've got it the right way up. This first proof going onto a clean, dry plate will still be kind of bumpy, not quite porous, but I've got to provide an opportunity for the ink to get down into, if you like, that surface, the little pores in the surface. So this first proof print is likely to be a little granular, maybe not a perfect coverage of green ink. I haven't placed a large amount of ink onto the surface of the linotile for this proof. I'm anticipating that that's a smart idea. If I put too much on too quickly to get a strong impression, I might put too much ink on and it will slowly start to go into the areas that I've cut away, making those edges kind of soft and not crisp. And of course, modifying the prints as I progress through the edition. So I'd much rather just be careful with the amount of ink and slowly build it up until I'm happy with those proof prints, and then I'm ready to go for my edition. So a couple more passes, applying a little bit of pressure with my Baron to complete the hand printing of the second colour, which is really just a proof print. So let's see how that goes. Remember, I've got a second sheet just so that I don't scuff the back of the paper or my proof print. I can see that the through the back of the paper, the colours are fairly well aligned. Light paper with sticky ink. Takes a little bit of care. Let's have a closer look, see what we've got. So let's have a look at our print. So this is our first proof with the green on top of our first proof of the first colour. So you can see that the green's a little bit patchy. That's not so much because of the quantity of the ink, maybe a little bit to do with the pressure, but mostly to do with the fact that the block is still accepting ink. On your screen there, the green is a little bit warmer than possibly it actually is. Because of the nature of layering colours, the colour from behind is somewhat modifying the colour on top. So if you're very particular about your colours, you may test that in advance in order to modify your hues in order to get the best results. So I'm going to continue to print a couple of proofs. I'm probably going to cut some of these areas away, possibly, this one here, a couple in here, will probably be removed. I'd say also mostly that line there will go. Some of those little marks are helpful to describing contours in the face, so they'll be left. What you might notice is my design actually had separations that would be useful for 4 different colours. But in order to keep true to this project and I guess not confuse in the process, I've stayed with using 3 colours. But the second stop I've modified by actually carving through it. So, of course, revealing some of that first sort of peachy orange from behind. It'll be a little bit more revealed later, but the intent is to have then this striated green, which allows some of the colour from behind to come through to act as an intermediary tone between this green and the solid black green beside. And of course, the last colour will be a dark purple. And when I print that, most of the block will have been removed. And hopefully then we'll be able to see the white, the first colour, the second colour green, if you like, with 2 tonal variations, and then the final hue making the dark, pulling it all together. But I'll just need to continue working this block prior to making my addition. I'll do a short addition using the hand burnishing, and I'll also do an addition using our press. Altogether, there'll probably be about 20 prints, probably 5 hand printed and probably about 15 altogether, I think, using our little intaglio press. So I'll just continue doing that, and I'll sign off for now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that these little videos are being informative and helping you with your project. Stay with me as we progress through to the conclusion of this print. And of course, as you already know, I've got a little bit more cutting and 1 more colour to add. Anyway, thanks for hanging in there with me, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.